If I asked you to visualize child abuse, what would you see? If you pictured a parent or guardian being physically or vocally harmful to a young child, you are not wrong, but there's more to it than that. I'll be both teaching a little about child abuse that is unknown as well as persuading you to help bring it to an end. It is understandable to think that only people who have been abused themselves or people with anger issues are the only ones who are harming children. However, it is not as simple as that. I encourage you to keep an open mind and take something from this speech that could save a future child of yours or of someone you know. Children are the future of the world. What keeps them on a better path is the path we make for them. That being said, they can refuse to take said path if they have no faith or trust in their parent. The mental state of a child can be broken and lead to decisions that could ruin their chances, such as drug abuse, criminal activity, or even become a child abuser themselves. We'll be discussing everything that you need to know about the different forms of child abuse, as well as what they can do, followed by how you can help. Now that I've shared what this speech is about, let's begin with what child abuse is and what forms it can take. Some examples of child abuse include physical, vocal, sexual, and neglect. Sirik V, an author of Preventing Child Abuse and Neglect, writes, "Child maltreatment is the abuse and neglect that occurs to children under 18 years of age. It includes all types of physical and/or emotional ill treatment, sexual abuse, neglect, negligence, and commercial or other exploitation, which results in actual or potential harm to a child's health, survival, development, or dignity in the context of a relationship of responsibility, trust, or power." With physical and sexual abuse being more obvious, I will explain a little about emotional abuse and neglect. Emotional abuse is when a child's self-worth is damaged, and neglect is when a child's basic needs are not met. After sharing examples of child abuse, I will now be explaining where they can originate. A few reasons why children are at risk of the types of abuse mentioned include unfulfillment of expectations from parents, misuse of drugs and alcohol of parent even during pregnancy, gender and social inequality, glorified punishment, and lack of awareness of child development. Susan Orr, author of What Everyone Can Do to Prevent Child Abuse, explains, for example, lack of preparation or knowledge of critical issues surrounding parenting, financial or other environmental stressors, difficulty in relationships, stress of single parenting, and depression or other mental health problems can all lead to abusive and/or neglectful behavior. With the information about what other forms child abuse can take and where it can come from, we can talk about how to help. Being able to recognize what child abuse is and what it looks like is the first step to ending it. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention writes, "Child abuse and neglect are complex problems rooted in unhealthy relationships and environments. Preventing child abuse and neglect requires addressing risk and protective factors at the individual, relational, community, and social levels. To meet these requirements, a number of approaches could be taken, such as strengthening financial security, improving quality of childcare, behavioral parental training, and early childhood education." In this speech, a great amount of information was shared about one topic. Let's review to remind ourselves the importance of ending child abuse. We now know the multiple forms of child abuse, other than physical and vocal, as well as why it occurs from those who do not seem to be abusers, and how we can start to prevent it on our own. Kimberly Day, the author of What Will It Take to End Child Abuse Fatalities in the United States, claims, "More alarming is the number of child fatalities that result from abuse and neglect, with researchers believing there are nearly 7 child abuse and neglect deaths every day in America, some 2,500 per year. With these facts laid out for us, it is hard to ignore the possibility of a child, being abused in a way that is obvious or unintentional. Keep an open mind to what could be harmful and learn to treat a child as an equal and not as anything less. The children are the future of the world. The more harm that comes their way early on, the worse the world becomes. Children are suffering and are dying from abuse. Even if it's a change in choice of words, treating a child with respect and kindness is what we need to aim for to prevent them from feeling neglected. Noticing when a child is in need is all it takes to help bring child abuse to an end.